Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've done a little bit of this already. Here are the basic tools you need, just these two right here. Okay, and it's also up on the board, the little diagram up there. That's all you need. The ruler is really helpful because you can tell where the high spots are if you just kind of lean it against the wall. You can have little shavings that you can kind of get rid of once in a while. I've kind of done the top, or this side, and it doesn't matter that much what is the top and the bottom. Whatever side you like best should be the top. Whether it winds up being the actual top or bottom when you originally made it, doesn't matter a bit. Okay, so I've kind of done this, and you can see it's kind of nice and clean. I did this, so it's fairly level, and it's never gonna be perfect. There's a little bit of a lower spot right here, and that's no big deal. But if you just lean that against there, you can see that it's fairly level. Where this really comes in handy is this raised rim right here. And if you go like that, you can see that there's airspace under my ruler, and I can obviously tell that I need to trim that off a little bit, okay? So I do that a number of times, and when you work on this, just like with your rain stick or anything else, don't tip it onto its corner, because you're gonna round off that corner. So if you need to turn it and move it, pick it up, move it, and put it on its side. It should be very cool to the touch still, but obviously firming up some. All right, so all you're gonna do is just like if you were gonna trim, or rather peel an apple, you're just gonna take off a little bit on this side, a little bit on that side, a little bit on this side, a little bit on that side. Maybe use a little bit of a wet fingertip just to kind of softly round off the corner. If your little corners are super sharp, they're gonna chip very easily when it dries out some. Okay, so you just wanna softly do that. You even wanna, for a heart box, you even wanna look at the point of the heart, and yeah, I can see where I need to take some off, and I can put my ruler there and see that I need to take off a little bit to make that joint and that seam kind of disappear. I see a little bit of my seam here. What really helps a lot, you guys, also, is if you make sure that the flat edge of this tool is flat against your box. Don't start angling things with this tool accidentally. I can see my little tip right there is sticking up a little bit too much. Now here's another little trick. Use the ruler as a guide for when you're shaving or trimming. So if I hold the ruler right there, I see a little high spot. I could hold the ruler steady and just kind of trim until I hit the ruler. Okay, that will keep things pretty straight and true. Then I can go this way and kind of do the same thing on the other side. Okay. So I won't finish the whole thing. I'll finish it later at some point. But at the point where you think you're done, you really want to do some double checking. Like that's not done right there. You can see the airspace. You want to also try to minimize the texture. And a good way to do that is, again, with this handle or with this tool, dip it in a little bit of water and just kind of burnish it back and forth, a little bit of finger rubbing if you see some obvious texture. Now, there are going to be some of you, so all over the place. This is a great tool just to kind of polish it. There are going to be some people who need to score and attach some clay. So you might have like kind of a big indent right there. It's just as simple as score, 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 get it wet. Just like putting that coil on the inside, make a little coil, dip it in water, place it there, and kind of blend it in to help fill in some spaces that might have, gotten depressed. All right, I think that's about it. Oh, now, wait, I'm sorry. You are not gonna cut the lid off yet. You have to apply and carve the design first. That's the next demo. If several people are ready to go today, I'll stop you guys and do that demo, okay? But usually it takes people a day to just kind of really make it look like it was practically machine made and without any little obvious bumps and lumps and things sticking out. But I'm gonna keep double bagging this. I'm even going to, sprinkle a little water in my bag, the one that makes contact with this, because you want it to be firm, but it needs to be cool to the touch still, because in a few days you're going to cut the lid off and you need to be able to cut through that clay. It takes you, 5 or 6 times to go around it with that little sharp razor blade tool, okay? So you cannot let it get dry to the point where it no longer feels cool to the touch. And hopefully you're getting used to that. All right, so I'm gonna keep this double bagged overnight, and tomorrow at least I'll show you how to apply the design and start carving out the grout lines. Bam! Thank you very much.